Hi, I'm Robin Gallagher, and I'd like to show you how to make a simple pillowcase today that is really nicely finished on the inside as well as on the outside, so you have no raw edges. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our main fabric, which is 27 inches long, and that makes a standard size pillowcase. If you'd like to make a king size pillowcase, then I would start with about 36 inches. But today we're going to make a standard size, so we have 27 inches of fabric. We also need a border fabric. And the border fabric is cut at 9 inches wide, so it's 1/4 of a yard of fabric, and you cut across the width of fabric 9 inches, and then a little accent piece which is only 3 inches of fabric, once again cut by the width of fabric. Before I start, I cut those pieces, I cut my salvage edges off, I then go to the ironing board and I take my border piece and I fold it in half, wrong sides together, and I press it. I also take my accent piece and fold it in half, wrong sides together, and press it. And now I'm ready to start. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my border piece, and I'm going to open it up right side up. I'm then going to take my accent piece, I'm going to leave it folded, and I'm going to lay it on top of the border piece, and I'm going to line all those little raw edges up together. And if they're not exactly the same width, it really doesn't matter. We can trim those out once this end piece is put on. We're going to now take the main piece of fabric, and I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to put it right side down, once again lining it up along that raw edge so that all 3 pieces of fabric are lined up. And just to keep everything together, I'm just going to stick a few pins in here just so that while I'm doing the next step, everything stays in place. So now I'm going to take the main piece of the fabric and I'm going to start folding it up because I want it to be smaller than that border piece that I have open underneath. So I fold it up, fold it up, fold it up until it's small enough that I can now take my border piece and fold it over on top of everything, line my raw edges up, and once again I'm going to pin it in place. And if I were really doing this, I would use a lot more pins before I went to the ironing or to the sewing machine. But this will work for now. So I'm just going to put pins all along here. I'm going to then sew a 1/4 inch seam all the way along that edge. And what I'm going to end up with is a piece that looks a lot like this. It's a tube, everything's enclosed, and I have a 1/4 inch seam sewn right along that edge. Now's the fun part. You start turning it inside out. And I did backstitch at each end when I sewed that 1/4 inch seam because I'm going to be pulling and tugging on this, so I really don't want that seam to come undone. But just keep pulling and tugging and everything will come out, and what you're going to discover is that you have the top part of your pillowcase with your border and your accent all sewn together, and the back side looks almost as good as the front side without the accent piece, but everything's enclosed. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make a French seam. And for those that haven't made a French seam, basically what it is, it's a seam that is enclosed so there's no raw edges. So in order to do that, I'm going to take my pillowcase and I'm going to fold it as it finishes, so wrong sides together. This is how this pillowcase is going to look when it's finished. I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch seam all the way along the one side and all the way across the bottom. Once I've done that, I'm going to now turn the pillowcase wrong side out. And at that point, it's going to look an awful lot like this one right here. And so I've turned it. This is the wrong side of the fabric, and I'm now going to sew that same seam again, but this time I'm going to do a 1/2 inch. About a 1/2 inch across the bottom and a 1/2 inch seam along the one side. So what's happened is I've completely enclosed that raw seam inside. And once I've done that, I'm finished. I'm going to turn it right side out, and I'm going to play with it a little bit and get everything all lined up, and I'm going to end up with a pillowcase that looks just like this. And It's a lot of fun to make pillowcases for different seasons or for different people's hobbies, and I hope you enjoy it. If you'd like to get written instructions on how to do it, you can go to my website, which is www.robinquiltsetc.com. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it.